Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you again for coming to check out my videos on my channel. I'm about to do a video on the 2009 to 2014 R1, how to install frame sliders. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of different sliders you can get for the bike. You can get the front fork sliders, you can get the swing arm sliders, you can get the frame sliders, you can get the clutch sliders, you can get the stator sliders, you can get the you can get the handlebar sliders. There's a lot of different sliders you can get for this bike. But this particular video is just on how to do the frame sliders. Now you can get cut sliders and no cut sliders. These particular sliders I'm gonna put on give you the option to do cut and no cut, but I'm gonna do the no cut. So it's fairly simple. So don't feel intimidated by it. So check it out. Okay, so frame slider assembly is going to be going into these bolts right here. And there's two of them on each side. So there's this one here and on this side, which is the right side, you can see these ones over here. So I'm going to start by taking off these screws. These half bolts here, 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 here. And on the other side, 1, 2 more, and down here. So screws are out. Now screws are out there, here, here. So now the piece can move. When you pull this piece out, you see that right there? You have to be careful not to break that. Just wiggle it out gently. You see there's a hook that goes right here. So don't just jerk it. Just wiggle it out gently and it'll come on out. So now I'm gonna loosen these top screws up right here. Alright, so I'm not gonna take it all the way out. I just pop that loose, pop this loose, and you see it gives me a lot of space. It gives me a lot of space to access these two screws. Okay, to get to this top screw right here, this is a size 5 Allen key. And to get to this lower nut right here, it's a size 14 socket. And then I have my trusty thing right here. This, my friends, is probably one of the best things I've ever purchased. I love this thing. I use it for everything. It has a 1/4 drive up in the bottom and a 3/8 drive up top. Absolutely love it. And then the thing I like about it is that it's thin, and so it can get in tight spots where other things can't. So let's get this out of here. Okay, so we got the top nut out, and we got the bottom. With the bottom comes this, and this, but we're gonna leave this in here. Now we're gonna come to the right side and do the same thing. Again, just be gentle, be careful, don't yank, don't jerk. Be very gentle, it's like your baby. Alright. On the left hand side of your bike, however, this bolt is a 17 mil. Look at this bolt. It gave me a real hard time about coming out. That thing was rusty. So, that came in handy. Now I got everything taken apart, taken off. Now I was trying to put it together. Alright. Now, we're going to use blue Loctite, because these aren't going to be coming back off. And if they do come off, we want it to give you a hard time. So, we're using blue Loctite on this, and we're going to be a little bit more generous. Alright, so we're going to take the long one, the long frame slider, the frame slider, with the short version. Okay, got those over here. Remember, we got the 2 super long screws. We're going to take the shorter of the 2, So take one of these screws. We're gonna take two of the washers, and then you remember it has two screws like this. You're gonna take the long version. And our trusty Loctite. Okay, so these came out of the bike. I personally, I'm gonna leave them in there. I don't like taking stuff off the bike I don't have to take. So let's put it together. So go ahead and get a little Loctite. Put a nice little dab on there. So when the screws in, I wasted some. So when it screws in, it'll spread out. So let's see. See that shape? So what happens is when you compress it, it expands this and lets it sit tighter in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them all together. And I'm gonna put the screw. See if I can do this with one hand. In the hole. All right, and then we're about to screw it off in here. Okay, so I got it in there pretty good. Started at least. I'm gonna take this screw. Put a little Loctite on it. You need too much. And sorry. I don't know if y'all can see this. This screw goes in here like this. Okay, so this is a screw for the other side, but I'm using it to see what size it is. This is size 10 Allen key. Size 10 Allen key. To screw that bottom one in. And size 5 Allen key. Screw the top one in. Alright. There's no torque spec to it. If there's a torque spec, I don't know it. But being that I have blue Loctite on it, I'm not worried about torquing it. Because it's not going to come out, right? And these don't have to be like a certain pound pressure. It doesn't matter. So what I do is, because this rod is so long, I'm choking up on it. I'm pulling from up here. So I can't put as much pressure. I don't get as much leverage. So I get from up here and I tighten as much as I can from up here. Again, if I pull from down here, I can get 80, 90, 100, 150 pounds. But if I pull from up here, I can only get, 50, 60 pounds maybe at best, right? So I get it good and tight from up here, and that's it, right? Because again, if you mess some threads up, you're gonna have a bad day. Same thing with this smaller screw, especially since it's smaller. I choke up on the wrench and I torque it tight right here, as much as I can with my fingers. That's about it. It's not coming out because it has Loctite in there. Now for the frame slider, I take my little washer, put that in first, then take the flat washer, put that in, and I put it down in the slider like this. Add a little blue Loctite, and you're ready for action. This is a size 8 Allen key. Have to put on an extension in order for it to be able to reach down the slider. So you will need an extension. Size 8, boom. What I do is I start to screw it in there, get it just good enough, just get it in there so it's not moving around, and then I'm gonna put this side fairing back together and tighten up the rest of the way. Or, of course, I could just tighten up the rest of the way too, and then put the fairings back together. We're about to do the same thing on the left side. Take the very long screw. Tab will lock tight. This hole right there will fit in that groove. Yep. See that? It fits in the groove perfectly. Same thing with this screw. And goes in right there. Okay, so I put in this at the end of the video for people that want to save some time and just go through and kind of know how the bike comes apart, but just don't know where the pieces go. So in your kit, this is what you're gonna get in your kit. Okay, those bolts up there came out the bike. This half of the bike is your right hand. If you're sitting on the bike facing forward, this is your right hand, this is your left hand. If you notice the difference in the screws, right? So this big screw, the super long one, goes on your left hand side. The short one goes on the right hand side. For the little screws, the long one goes on the right hand side, short one goes on the left. All right, with the sliders, you can see with the sliders, one is longer than the other. This will go on your left hand side, and this will go on the right hand side. Now, when this goes on the bike, it's gonna go like this. So if this is your knee, this is how it's gonna be. This part here facing into the bike. That's how it's gonna go. So to help y'all, that's how it's gonna go like that. These screws go in here, right? Let me make it a little easier. Those go in like that. Those go in like that. The little screws go up top. That faces in. That's how it works. Just like that. Of course, this is for people. I mean, I put this at the end of the video for people who want to just shortcut everything. Just need to know what side goes to what. But if you want to know how to install it, just rewind and watch the video.